In a horrific accident that has taken place yesterday evening, 3 students have died after the basement of an IAS training academy in Old Rajinder Nagar was flooded. An FIR was registered in the incident after visuals showed the basement of Rau's IAS study circle flooded. The fire brigade had reportedly received a call at around 7:19 p.m. and fire brigade officials received a call post which they rushed to the spot. Delhi police meanwhile has arrested now the coordinator of Rau's IAS centre in Old Rajinder Nagar and the building owner after flooding in the basement which killed 3 students. The police in fact has booked them under charges of culpable homicide amongst other charges. Well, the big question is who will be held accountable for this, and at the end of the day, of course, citizens pay taxes, but this is what they get in return. Sudhir Krishna, former Secretary Urban Development, is joining us live. Shashank Shekhar Jha, lawyer, is also live with us. Nikhil Jain, political analyst, also joins the broadcast. Let me bring you in here first on what you make of this absolute shocker, and who do you prima facie hold accountable, Sudhir Krishna, for this tragedy?
I think it's a very sad situation, and I think prima facie it is the Municipal Corporation of Delhi, but one has to make further inquiries. But it also indicates that city governance is kind of facing a huge challenge. And we are having, urbanization is the situation that we are facing. People are migrating to cities. Cities are having more and more activities. So the cities have to expand. But the expansion is haphazard. We are having the slums where people are multiplying the floors. Single floor becomes 4 floors. Like in other areas also, we are adding floors. Basements are being put to use. All right, the usage is permitted, but it has to be under regulations. Structural safety, fire safety. So it is a governance failure, and it is only one thing which has happened by chance. Only one has happened. More can happen. See, when the heavy rains are there, whether the drainage system is adequate to carry all the water that is coming, and the way the gates are closed, and based on the gate safety, we cannot have the safety of against flooding. So it is a governance issue, serious governance issue. And by merging 3 corporations, we have made a huge municipal corporation for Delhi. But micro level issues, whether the corporation can manage with a huge corporation, that's a very big challenge. So I think very stronger local governance is required. Ward level committees, ward level management, drainage planning. These are the issues which have to be focused.
Absolutely. These are certainly issues which need to be the focus, but they aren't of the authority. Shashank Shekhar Jha, is this a matter now that the court will need to intervene? Why does the court have to intervene in all such cases before finally action is taken and accountability is paid?
Namaste Udayji and all your fellow panelists. I am deeply sorry for the families of these 3 students who were in Delhi preparing for the best of their future. Unfortunate is the part that this particular coaching institution had no drainage system in its basement where the library was going on. Not just this institution, but there are n number of other institutions in, say, Old Rajinder Nagar or nearby areas where such scenarios is being prevailing since years, or for that point, decades. Just few days back, one of my friends who had his office in Jangpura, his entire office was filled with water. Had there been an accountability at that point of time, we would have these 3 students alive today. Really unfortunate. The locus for that point, the accountability here directly goes with state government. They are responsible. In fact, MCD is also with them only. They are responsible for all kind of civil system, etc. So if we are talking about Delhi, which is the national capital, and we do not even have proper system where how water will move out from a library like this, shows that we are not ready for any kind of accountability yet. The unfortunate part is last time it was Nilesh, this time these are 3 students, and we are still talking here, Udayji, about infrastructure and rules. But who will grant us back those 3 lives, those 3 innocent lives who would have become, the UPSC? And out of these 3, what I have been told is they are both girls and boys, young girls, young boys who are being sent by their parents to Delhi merely to learn something better in order to become UPSC of administrator, or for that point any other government job. If you are not able to provide even basic
Yes, absolutely. Shashank, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
I guess the unfortunate part, Udayji, apart from this thing, is that we are not learning from our own mistakes. Few days back, when there were, what a flood-like situation in Delhi, even last year when the situation was like that, we were promised by the state government that they will take, hold accountable the responsible person, or they will actually change the scenario, the drainage system we talk about, or for that point, the water which get logged, etc. Nothing has been changed. Since past 10 years, we have one government and which actually claims to develop the city, but we are unable to find any difference. And the unfortunate death of these three students, the only problem here, Udayji, is they may get compensation, their family, or for that point we may regret their loss, which, because I am currently speechless as far as their loss is concerned. But will we learn? Will we actually held accountable? This particular coaching institute, they had proper papers from the administration saying that you are capable to hold this coaching institute. They had this document from MCD. How could they get it? Without bribery, I don't think they will be able to get it. So if you are able to nab 2-3 people small, I don't think that will be good enough. There should be proper accountability. Minister responsible should actually resign. But again, Udayji, if the chief minister is behind bar and hell-bound to stick with his chair and not resigning even after corruption charges, what will you expect from this? I do not wish to bring politics in this case today. However, the unfortunate part is there has been a major lapse in this case, and not just this case, but in past few weeks, there has been, on and off rain in Delhi, and such problems has been persisting. So the mayor of Delhi, or for that point, those officials of MCD or the ministers, what are they're saying? So they said something 4 weeks back. They said similar thing 2 weeks back, and today they are repeating the same thing again. But the loss of these three lives, I guess, that is really unfortunate. And not only court should take suo motu, but this government and at least the head should resign, because if you have a headless government operating in the national capital, it will not be able to operate properly. And that is what we are seeing in Delhi. I am a person who lives in Delhi, works in Delhi, have been living in Delhi since past few years. And the unfortunate part is we are not even finding people to make them accountable. So this is unfortunate, Udayji.
Yes. Okay. Let me quickly take that across to Nikhil Jain as well. Nikhil Jain, Shashank Shekhar Jha brought in a bit of politics there, saying accountability needs to be fixed. No one is willing to take the blame here from the political class or the administration either. Your response to that, Nikhil, and what you make of this overall tragedy and the kind of apathy that unfortunately exists despite these incidents. 3 lives have been taken. Is this how cheap human lives are in our country?
Well, sadly, the truth is that is how cheap indeed human lives in our country are. We've all seen visuals of people hanging from Mumbai local trains and falling. We've seen pictures of bridges collapsing. We've seen pictures of people drowning in underpasses, and now this basement incident. And I'm not saying that to label a particular government. This is something that is happening across the country. But the political class and the bureaucratic class as a whole is always trying to run away from responsibility, passing the buck from one to the other. And I feel a lot of people are going to say for this incident that let's not play politics over people who have died, but let's play politics over it. Let's hold our politicians to account. Let's hold our bureaucrats to account so that incidents like this do not happen again. Now, the first person who spoke on the panel, he faulted the NCD for it. I think the NCD does have a role to play for this, but so far as the drainage in Delhi is concerned, if I'm not mistaken, it is the Delhi Jal Board's responsibility, which does fall under the Delhi government. And since I am also a resident of Delhi, I've been living in the city since I've been born. And what I've seen is that in the past few years, there's been a lot of clogging in the drainage system of Delhi. Perhaps the drainage system cannot take the load of the increasing population anymore, which is why you're seeing a lot of flooding incidents. You're seeing a lot of traffic being halted because of this, and you're now also seeing incidents like this. So far as this particular case is concerned, what you have is a basement flooding. So it could be either of the two reasons. One, that the construction of the basement was so faulty that water seeped in from under the ground of the basement and flooded the basement. 2, which is a more likely scenario, that the drainage system gave a pushback. It could not take the water from the area. And obviously the basements are at a higher risk being the subterranean levels that they are. And that is why they flooded. So more than a knee-jerk reaction, which we are likely to see, wherein some basements will be raided, some coaching institutes will be shut down, some offices would be shut down. What we need is accountability, that if you're allowing basements to have offices and coaching centers, as they're allowed in Delhi by law, legally, as this person also had a license for it, then you have to have, a drainage system, a commensurate infrastructure also for it. But nobody is willing to do that. And my dear colleague, advocate colleague who was speaking before me, he was essentially trying, without naming them, he was essentially planning the blame on the Aam Aadmi Party government. And I'm not here to absolve any blame from them, but let's also remember the kind of state that the Delhi administration is running in, that the BJP and the AAP are completely at odds in trying to figure out who runs the Delhi government. And I think he was also forgetting the cardinal principle of law: innocent until proven guilty. You can't ask a chief minister or anybody to resign just because there have been corruption charges against him.
I'm so sorry, Udaji. I am so sorry, Udaji, but
sir, I wasn't interjecting when you were speaking. I would hope for you to extend that courtesy to me.
So sorry.
What I'm saying is that I'm sure you have a lot of lawyer friends who are perhaps standing counsels of the Delhi government or of the MCD, and you can ask them around what is happening in the Delhi administration right now, that the bureaucrats which are now being appointed by the central government are completely not cooperating with the Delhi government ministers. They're not following orders. And right now, we as citizens of Delhi are left in a state of flux, where between a fight of the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party, what is happening is that this city is going to shatters. Our drainage system is not working. Our jail systems are not working. There are various problems when trying to prosecute people, because the people prosecuting them in the High Court are appointed by the Aam Aadmi Party government, while the police is appointed by the central government, which is under the BJP. So this sort of a bickering and battle that is happening between these political parties, I think that is what is primarily to blame for a lot of things that are going wrong in Delhi at this point of time. So I think moving forward, we need to look at how we need to revamp the infrastructure in the city, how we need to revamp the drainage in the city, instead of just trying to put the blame on one particular political party or one particular officer or a particular coaching institute or something like that. I think that's my view on it.
All right, let me quickly, in fact, okay, Shashank, quickly respond, and then I'll get in a young student who's also joining us now. Yes.
There are two parts, and I am really sorry that someone is trying to defend the government or the coaching institute here. As far as coaching institute is concerned, I have with me in my phone, and I can send you over WhatsApp, I have this form for issuing fire safety certificate issued on 9th July 2024 by the government of Delhi. And it says that this particular institute had their building comprised of basement, split, and 3 upper floor has been complied with fire prevention and fire safety requirements. Who declared them, storage and not basement for this library, and who gave them this letter and this certificate? So let's not try to remove the accountability. It is time to make them accountable and not to defend them. As far as political parties are concerned, I am not targeting any particular political party. What I have said is that since past 10 years, there is one political party which is ruling Delhi. There are n number of cases between LG and Delhi government before Delhi High Court and Supreme Court. Nevertheless, every time whenever these parties move to Delhi High Court or Supreme Court, and because I am a practicing lawyer, I will speak with dignity here. Every time these constitutional court says that irrespective of the differences you have between yourselves, you should make priority the requirements of the people of Delhi. Now today 3 people has lost their life because of the administrative failure. How can someone before this TV can defend this particular government which is in power since past 10 years? As far as Jal Board is concerned, this particular government actually went to Supreme Court saying that LG should release this much fund. And there may be a dispute as far as funds are concerned. But how can someone defend this inaction of MCD, or for that point, inaction of government to actually remove this water logging or actually do something against this particular corruption? In this corruption, they has granted this particular institute this right to operate their coaching institute without having proper facilities. 3 persons has died, and I don't know how, but you should have some heart. You cannot defend anyone like this before TV. In a case with 3 innocent children, they were merely 21, 22, 23. They died, not because of their fault, but because of the fault of some bribery which has been taken by the administration and the accountability which is lacking in this case. So I'm really sorry, Udaji, I had to speak in between, but this is completely condemnable. You cannot defend something like this. This is undefendable. If someone is responsible from center, you should criticize them also. But because this particular thing comes under or falls under the principle of state policy, the constitution clearly separates state list, central list, concurrent list. These all things comes under state list. We are not talking about police. What will police do here? They will do investigation. They will try to figure out who is responsible.
Okay, I'll come back to you. Let's get in Saurabh Upadhyay of a young UPSC aspirant. Saurabh, the students have also been protesting. What is your reaction, Saurabh, to the kind of protests that we have been seeing? Saurabh Upadhyay? Okay, I think we're having some trouble there with this connection. Okay, let's go back across to my other guests also live with us. Let me quickly bring you in here, Sudhir Krishna. Now we are learning that action is being taken, that a crackdown will happen on basement centers which have been run illegally, on other buildings which are using facilities for other than prescribed in the approved plans. But is this action too late, Sudhir? And Sudhir, also, will this action be taken in a prolonged fashion, or will it just be taken for a few days because right now there is media pressure?
I think this action, I'm sure they will take some action because of the pressure of the situation. But I think more is required. The entire drainage network has to be reviewed. Because, this building might be in isolation, it may be safe in isolation. But the building cannot be held responsible for what is happening on the drainage system outside it. That is beyond the buildings. So, and whether the drainage system can carry the water adequately, rainwater in case of excessive rainfall, etc. Because the basement usage is permitted under the building bylaws, under the master plan of Delhi and under the building bylaws, usage of basement for various purposes, including coaching centers specifically mentioned. And beside that, many other usages are permitted. Gyms can be operated, commercial gyms can be, and they are. So that is not a problem. And if you specifically see a particular center, it may be all right. So now the problem is that the drainage system has become old and it needs to be, and the vertical growth is putting, more pressure on the drainage system, on the streets for the, mobility of the people and so on. And therefore it is high time that the authorities, maybe the Jal Board under the leadership of Jal Board, because the micro network will be handled by MCD, connection given and so on, and the major lines will be looked after by the Jal Board. So all put together, they must review the entire drainage system. Heavy rains are causing havoc here and there. Somewhere lives are lost, somewhere traffic is, subject to heavy, serious restriction and movement problems. So all put together, either economy suffers or human life suffers. Both are not at all justified. It is very high time. And because Delhi, more than half of the Delhi is inhabited by in the slums. And the slums are having their own vertical growth. And one single floor complexes, whether it is Lajpat Nagar or Defense College, every single floor building has become 2 floor, 3, 4 floor, 4 floor, and so on and so forth. So the drainage system, the road system, network, everything is subject to much heavier pressure than before. And there is extreme requirement of urgently reviewing the entire drainage system. And waterlogging of Delhi is it has become every year issue, and within a year, 2-3 times it is happening. And so I think this is the urgent requirement, which government of Delhi.
Let me bring in Dr. Bhupendra Chaurasia. He's a social activist. He's also joining us live. Dr. Chaurasia, come in here. This is an absolute shocker. Give us more details about what went wrong and the illegalities because of which these students lost their lives.
Thank you very much, sir. I was there from yesterday, 8 o'clock, and it was more than 23 hours. I just came back. It was an organized crime, and it was very I can say yesterday at 7:30 there was a police call and the NDRF team will reach there. Unfortunately, 3 youngsters who are UPSC aspirants lost their life. 4 o'clock NDRF have completed their work. Okay, and they have moved on. Regularly, the local people of Rajinder Nagar, along with the students, are giving representation to the Honorable MLA Durgesh Pathak for this for this water accumulation and the lodging problem. But Durgesh Pathak MLA and the councillors are not taking it seriously. Perhaps what they have done today morning, the Nagar Nigam big trucks were there. They are cleaning the passage and all. If the same thing was done yesterday morning, might be these 3 youngsters might be there with us today. The unfortunate incident happened 4 days before in Patel Nagar. where Nilesh was stuck in rain, and there was some big hole, water hole, and he was just trying to connect with the channel, and there is an electric shock, and he died on the spot. 30 minutes they have tried to call the BSES, but they didn't respond. The organized crime is included of more than 5 to 6 people. First of all, the owner of this premise, Ved Gupta and the Abhishek, they should punish in under section 302, because they are the most responsible person for the loss of these 3 people. Second is MCD, because by the continue messages, by the continue representation by the following people, by the local people, they are not taking it seriously. They think that this water logging is not a serious issue and they might skip it. Third is this Shelly Oberoi, because like 15-20 days before, when the monsoon is starting, she said that, oh yeah, we prepared very well and we are going, and the Delhi people are going to enjoy this monsoon a lot. People in 4 days, 4 people lost their life. The fourth one is Durgesh Pathak, obviously the MLA, the councillors, and the most important link here is this fire NOC person, because as per his my information and through the media, there is no fire NOC. So how this big coaching is running without the fire NOC? And the sixth and the final, and she is the biggest criminal of them all, and she is the Jal Minister and the Education Minister of Delhi government, Atishi. I was there for 23 hours. She didn't even came. She didn't even cared. If Kejriwal blood sugar just came from 60 to 50, she came online and she makes so much noise, so much chaos. But when already 3 people lost their life,
right?
And I am feeling very sad for Aam Aadmi Party, because when I came back to my home and I opened my Twitter, I am seeing Sunita Kejriwal and Sanjay Singh. They are inaugurating their party manifesto and they are starting their work in Haryana. Are you serious?
Right. So you're saying that negligence has taken place and this is criminality. Let me also bring in Saurabh Upadhyay. He's a UPSC aspirant. I believe he's back with us now. Saurabh, if you can finally hear me now. Students have also been protesting. Why are students so upset? What do you feel about this shocker? And do you believe this tragedy was preventable? Saurabh Upadhyay, can you hear me? Okay, I think we are having a problem there with this connection. Let me bring back in Nikhil Jain. Nikhil Jain, this was a preventable tragedy. What was the AAP ministers, MLAs and administration doing is what Bhupendra Chaurasia is asking Nikhil Jain.
That is precisely what I'm saying, that this incident, a lot of people are now, as I mentioned earlier, that there will be knee-jerk reactions that basement owners could be prosecuted against. But this is primarily the failure of the drainage system of Delhi, which squarely falls under the Delhi Jal Board. Now, in a normal case, I'd be speaking all out against the Aam Aadmi Party.
Jal Board is under Delhi government. Delhi Jal Board is under Delhi government.
Sir, I did not interject you when you were speaking. Can I please speak?
Sir,
Can I please speak?
Sir,
when you interjected, I was about to say the exact same line that you interjected with, that the Delhi Jal Board is squarely under the Delhi government. Can you please stop interjecting when you're masquerading as a BJP spokesperson while pretending to be a citizen voice? Because I can very clearly see that you are not willing to put any accountability on any other party involved other than people related to the Aam Aadmi Party. Let's talk about the citizens of the city. Let's talk about the citizens of the country instead of trying to play political battles here. I am not absolving the Aam Aadmi Party government or the Aam Aadmi Party as a political party of any blame. What I'm saying is that this is a fault of the Delhi Jal Board, which falls under the Delhi government. Of course, all of us know that the Delhi government is run by the Aam Aadmi Party. What I'm saying also is that the bureaucratic tussle that is happening between the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party, which is not allowing officers to work, because my advocate friend earlier said that, whenever there's been a dispute between the Delhi government and the LG and they've gone to the courts and the courts have always said that, take the stand of the citizens. The courts also gave a verdict in the favor of the Delhi government, that Delhi government is the elected government. So they should be the ones appointing and transferring the officers, which the central government recently brought an ordinance and then an act and then took away all those rights from the Delhi government. So even though we have an elected Aam Aadmi Party government in Delhi, the officers here are being appointed by the BJP-run central government. And that is the tussle that is causing all the problems in Delhi right now. Again, of course, it's not that Aam Aadmi Party is completely helpless.
Nikhil sir, I agree with all your points. Just answer my question. From last 4 days, poor innocent youngster who were going to supposed to be IAS IPS officer. They have unfortunately died. Their family have a dream and they have sent their son and daughter to be a IPS IAS officer.
Yes.
Now when their body is reaching home, what are the emotions of their
Yes.
Babuji? Can you answer who is the responsible person? Please tell me the name. I totally agree.
No, I'm not going to name names because that is not doing justice to the people who have died. What I want is that no child like that child, whether they're going to become an IAS or an IPS or not, whether they're a rickshawala or an IPS officer, I don't care. Nobody should die like this.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is criminal negligence on the part of the bureaucrats and the politicians.
This really was a man-made
straight.
tragedy, and we must ensure accountability for this particular case as well, and also ensure that no such life is lost in the future in Delhi or any other part of the country.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.